So you never answered earlier. What's what anime do you want to get nominated this year? What did you put forward for like some of your favorite anime this year?
So
I'm curious.
For this season, actually.
For this season, okay.
Actually, that show started like last week of September, so it can kind of get in.
Oh, okay.
So like,
okay.
it's like I'm kind of ambivalent about it because like, is it right? Like, is it fair with just one episode with shown?
Is it Elf one?
It's
Frieren?
Frieren. I love manga Frieren so much, and I was just
such a good
so
manga.
much.
Oh my god.
It's on Netflix, right?
No.
Fuck,
Oh, it's not?
Unfortunately, well, I'm not
In
sure.
Japan? Is
Might be on
I
Netflix
think I saw
Japan.
it on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, because it's on the West. It's in Crunchyroll. So that's all I know.
So I want to see like how it goes. I guess like again, like the first episode was the longest episode. So
Yeah, it was like,
It's like-
an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I love our first episode animes. Just gets you into it.
Yeah.
I know.
Because, you know, 20 minutes sometimes you just like, pulled out and you're like, and fucking end it.
You didn't say that about Oshinoko though.
Listen, I liked the first episode of Oshinoko. It was after that where it lost me. I thought the first episode of Oshinoko was good and then it was boring.
That was even like shown in cinema. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this year, I guess, so Chainsaw Man Bochiroku is for this year. So they happen
Chainsaw
from
Man technically is this year.
Oh, yeah,
last
it
year.
is
So
technically,
yeah,
yeah.
so those are big
Yeah.
ones. Like Bochiroku, and of course Oshinoko too, and
Did you
Chainsaw
like
Man.
Oshinoko?
I have been reading manga, so it's not.
okay.
There was no surprise for me, but I really like the ambience and all the colorfulness.
The manga's gone fucking wild.
Yeah,
recently.
the manga is
Recently, I'm just like, ain't no way.
the manga is going everywhere.
It is. It's like it's losing focus. I think.
know, right?
I
But
think
It's a bit of a
Akasaka is just like, I'm going to do what the fuck I
Right,
want.
Yeah.
it felt like that like 2 episodes in.
No,
It felt like we were
Yeah.
just,
No.
I felt
I
like,
think the beginning is like this season is probably
bro,
fine.
we forgot about the whole mystery right away. We were like, all right,
That's
guys, I
true,
guess we're
okay.
going to Terrace House now.
yeah, but like if you read the manga recently, Akasaka has lost his mind.
know, right?
Like it's the like
Like-
I get like I'm convinced he's just trolling at this point. Like he just doesn't.
he is.
I think he's just trolling.
I
we
can't
don't
tell
want
the
to spoil
difference.
anything, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like, oh, what happened to this scene? What happened to this relationship? And like, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets wild.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm a little bit worried about Kaiju. Hachigo.
Oh yeah, Kaiju number
Manga wise,
8.
it's like definitely going down the popularity and the craze for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anime hasn't started
Is
yet.
it
so.
the giant monster?
Oh yeah, like that's
No,
like a
no.
30-something-year-old guy who's just getting a prime time after like obvious prime time,
Yeah.
and he's like joining this kind of self-defense force against kaijus.
Right.
He himself become a kaiju.
Right.
The concept
Yeah.
is kind of interesting.
The concept is cool, and the first couple of volumes of the manga
Yeah.
were like really good hook.
First arc is really good.
Yeah, and then it's just
Yeah.
kind of slow. Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah.
kind of
It's
going
just
downhill
like,
a little
it's
bit.
started-
Happens with like so many manga and anime though. Just like the first
Yeah.
one's a banger and then they kind of like, all right, well shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
Actually, the manga recently that has, in my opinion, just keeps going up is Dan Da Dan.
Oh yes.
Oh,
That
I-
manga is just the peak. It just keeps
Yeah,
peaking.
The sakuga is amazing too.
Yeah, I read that for the first time on stream the other day, and it is wild.
It's fucking insane. And to think that that's his first manga that he's ever made as well is like crazy good.
Yeah, it's crazy that we've had Dan Da Dan and like Hell's Paradise, who are both like assistants from the Chainsaw Man author.
Yeah.
like what was going on in this apartment?
He's
man?
cooking, bro.
What's going on in this
He's
office?
cooking.
Creative juices, man. Creative juices.
Uchimoto just like casually like just creating prodigies like in his office, you know?
Yeah.
We see this with other stuff that's happened though in different, completely unrelated, different creative fields across the world. Like when you get like a really big project, a lot of people worked on it, often end up doing their own really amazing stuff, probably because of the environment. They learn so many important things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that the same thing happens with mangakas.
Yeah, but I think it's just like it's very rare in the case of like Fujimoto's assistants, like that. So far it's literally been every single one of his assistants have come out with absolute bangers that are like unique in their own way. Like, because the problem with like a lot of like mangakas who start off as assistants of other mangakas is that they tend to kind of like bite at the ankles of whoever they were assisting.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So like one I can think of is like Sorachi, the creator of Gintama. His assistant, the creator of Sket Dance.
Oh, it's good. Oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
it was the assistant of
Who's doing,
Sorachi.
like, Witch Watch right now.
Yeah, who's doing
Yeah.
Witch Watch, right? Whereas like his stuff is cool, but when he first started off with Sket Dance, it was very obvious that he took a ton of inspiration from Gintama. To the point where people were kind of calling it a Gintama clone. Whereas like Fujimoto's assistants, they're making some wild shit, but none of it is really like attach that much to Chainsaw Man or any other of Fujimoto's work.
It's all like
They're just as wild.
Yeah, it's all like wild shit, and I don't know if that's because they all just happen to be really wild people, or if that was an influence by Fujimoto. Because my God, he like if you read any interviews or any stories about him as a person, it's like some of like
He sounds like a maniac.
some of the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like,
But you know what? The author of Bo
Yeah.
actually turned out to be a normal guy, according to
Yeah.
yeah, I remember reading the story about Fujimoto, like the author of Chainsaw Man, and he was talking about his childhood or something, about how he had like a childhood like of goldfish like growing up, and he talked about his experience when his goldfish died, right? And he was like so sad when he was like burying the goldfish, and he was like, he just never wanted to part from this goldfish because it was his first pet. So he just fucking ate him.
That's probably, he got the idea of eating somebody so important to you if you watch the show.
Yeah.
So like when you
Tiny
hear that story, right, and you're like, okay, I can see how that anecdote or that experience influenced, you know, some of the themes in like Chainsaw Man, for instance, right? So now when you read the rest of Chainsaw Man or like Fire Punch or anything he's made, you're just like, what story's behind this? How did you come up with this shit?
Yeah, it made me realize, oh, that's why Chainsaw Man is this way. And Chainsaw Man is like his least weird work in my, like, actually one of his least weird works. In my
I mean, what's the
opinion.
saying again? It's like a genius is just an insane person with an audience.
He definitely strides that line like perfectly.
Totally.
I guess Look Back was more sane, I guess.
Look Back was probably the most sane
tamed
one. Yeah, the most,
Which is saying a lot.
yeah, which is saying a lot.
Wait, what's your favorite manga of all time?
20th Century Boys.
Oh,
Yeah, easy. Which is why I'm really, really looking forward to Naoki Urasawa's Pluto, like coming out.
Yeah,
this,
that's gonna be sick.
coming out this.
I mean, yours is always JoJo, right?
Yeah, I've read all of JoJo. Actually, I haven't read part 8 yet or 9 because I just didn't get around to it. I don't know why.
Party was
Yeah, everyone has said part 8, and I don't know. I'm so sad if I get into it and I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I mean, I really, really, really like Gantz a lot too.
Oh, cool.
It's one of my favorites. Except there's some weird parts, but it was really, really good.
I know.
Man, Berserk was also. I feel like Berserk's such a cop-out answer, but it was just so good.
I mean, yeah.
I actually started rereading Berserk recently because I had all the physical volumes in my house in England.
The fairy shit was weird, though. I'm not going to lie. It's a little weird.
The fairy shit?
Yeah, when they get to the island with fairies.
Oh.
And you're just like, man, he played too many idle games.
Oh, let him cook though.
I don't know. Maybe we don't.
He cooked on the arc afterwards. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, true.
You probably read the most amount of manga.
I guess, yeah. My all-time favorite, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be
Punpun, right?
Punpun. For me is a love-hate. Like I think it's an absolute masterpiece, but I don't enjoy reading it. You know, every time I reread it, I think like one where I think it's like absolutely incredible, and I love rereading it every single time is probably Fist of the North Star.
Oh,
Yeah, Hokuto no Ken's probably my
Yes.
all-time favorite. Like I've reread that so many times, and every single time I'm like, damn, this thing is so underappreciated, especially in the West. Like in Japan, it's like a legendary
I think
status.
one thing
now.
I struggle to really, when people talk about old manga specifically, is that it's hard to separate the legacy from like the actual content.
Yeah.
Right.
And to know whether people are talking so fondly about it because of what it once was or what it meant at the time.
Says the JoJo fan.
JoJo's great still, bro. What are you saying?
JoJo wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Fist of the North Star.
No, I know, but like it's like if it's like when people like when they what's a really old one that people just talk about? Evangelion. It's dog shit now. No, I don't know. Like when people like what I guess to a lesser degree, it's like everyone.
Saint Seiya? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess that's a. But like this is
Kinnikuman? I don't know.
yeah, just anime that everyone has watched in Japan or manga.
Dragon Ball?
Yeah, and then like Dragon Ball's one of them where I would say like Dragon Ball is spoken about a lot and it's very iconic, but it's hard to like actually be like, all right, what is the actual like content here?
Right.
How do I
Like
what am
taking
I getting
all
into
nostalgia and everything away.
here? Yeah,
right?
yeah. And so like Hokuto no Ken has always been one of those weird ones for me where I'm like, man, I want to get into it, but it's hard to look past the way everyone talks about it. It's just more of a like, it was good or the legacy.
I mean,
was
the
good.
memes have definitely ruined it. That's for sure.
I mean, Omayo Moshinder. I fucking know.
Which is
It's
only
so
ever said
funny.
once in the manga, by the way.
And the only other thing I know about it is that every goddamn pachinko place in Japan
Yeah.
is Hokuto no Ken.
Yeah.
Which is like, which I feel like makes me not want to watch it because I'm like, why is it?
everywhere.
That's how my uncle became a fan of
Why is it
Hokuto no Ken
Why is
through
it
the
just
pachinko stuff.
mate?
Yeah.
Every single pachinko place in Japan is Hokuto no Ken, and then there'll be another
Eva.
anime or Ava.
Yeah.
It's
Or
Ava.
Well,
Rizzo.
that's
Rizzo.
because the age demographic of people who are going to these pachinko
true.
parlors now
Yeah.
grew up reading
Right.
Hokuto no Ken.
And also, like, you remember the song so vividly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
Every time
works.
you listen to You Are Shock, like that shit gets your blood
Okay,
pumping.
actually, so fucking true.
Actual
Should I
banger.
watch Hokuto no Ken or read it?
I would read it.
Yeah, reading.
You
I
think
guess it's just a visually so sounding. And because you are a fan of JoJo, I think you
Yeah.
appreciate
Becky,
the
I love
art.
Becky too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like the anime was good. Like I enjoyed it. It was a good anime adaptation. But the thing that really stands out about Hokuto no Ken is just Hara Tetsuo, the illustrator, just his style.
Yeah.
It's so
Is
unlike
it long?
It is
20,
it's quite long.
26 volumes, I think.
I mean, if you can do One Piece,
Listen,
like nothing is
I'm
long
like
enough.
50 volumes into One Piece.
If you can do One Piece and JoJo, you can do Fist of the North
You
Star.
can do
Yeah.
it.
Isn't One Piece long? Isn't JoJo longer than One Piece?
Yeah,
Yeah,
technically.
Baki's longer
EO
than
one.
both of
Yeah.
them.
Well, Becky's just. It feels like a fan cam for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it doesn't feel like an actual story. It just feels like a fan made story about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty accurate.
Also, I fucking.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh
fucking
doujin.
love our memes, dude.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
the man, this meal is so good, and then it's the fucking
Yeah.
illusion.
Yeah.
I love that video. That's become a meme. They're like anime fans eating good, and then it's Yu-Gi-Oh making an invisible meal. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
It's I
But,
fucking love
And then
it.
he does the invisible table flip.
I mean, regarding Baki, in the manga, the sex scene, like the first time sex scene, it's just like a fighting scene.
Oh my god, that is my favorite.
Yeah, it's just so funny.
And then just Yujiro's just fucking hunched over and just like,
Yeah.
eat her.
That John was telling me about the scene where Yujiro has sex with a man, but then apparently the way he justifies it is not being gay for whatever reason. Is that
Yeah.
he's like, all other beings are pussies to me because I'm Yujiro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, what?
It's like all other creatures on this planet are below me, so I can do whatever I want.
What the fuck is happening? What is going on in this manga? This is like,
crazy.
like if it like one of those alpha podcast men had like sex with a
Man-
man, and they were like, no, I wasn't gay. It wasn't gay. It was just I'm so alpha. dude.
That's another. That's
I
a.
just destroyed the sexuality debate with one line.
You ask Yujiro how many genders are there? He's just like, it's not a question. Doesn't matter.
Not gonna be even controversial.
That's another manga artist that like I just want to hear like anecdotes from. Like how do you come up with
I'd
it?
love to go for a drink with.
Yeah, right.
Just love to sit down.
I just want to figure out like how do you just come up with this
say
shit?
things.
Yeah.
Insane.
Funny you mentioned like, Slam Dunk earlier because that's my favorite manga.
Oh,
but I guess like
okay.
we have, I guess in Asia it's like so loved. Like, it's like
Oh,
religion,
it's so
right?
beloved. It
Yeah.
was,
I know.
yeah,
I was
all in
debating
Asia.
between Slam Dunk and Fist of the North Star for my favorite. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
they're both up there for me.
I hope that it's get more recognition in the West, and I was hoping that the new movie was gonna do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, because it was like CG, even though I've heard it was like still really, really good.
Yeah.
Like if anime fans see CG now, they're like,
Right.
okay, I'm not watching it.
Dude, I go to the cinema a lot in Japan.
Yeah.
I swear for like 3 months straight,
I
it was the
know.
only thing that was being played.
Yeah, yeah.
Only thing. Like nothing else was being played. And if other stuff was being played, it'd be like 9 showings of Slam Dunk, 1 showing of John Wick. By the way, it came out today. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I mean, that's the power, man, of Slam Dunk is that like it's even to this day, like people are still rediscovering it. Like newer generations are rediscovering it because they hear from the previous generations, right?
Isn't that the famous spot where they go to take pictures
Oh,
from the manga?
right. Like, it's just there. It's just for the picture.
Yeah, apparently that place has
Yeah.
been like they've interviewed a bunch of people recently. I saw it on Japanese news. They were like, "Yeah, we just wish there wasn't so many tourists coming to this
Yeah,
place,
especially
for
from
this."
Korea and mainland China. And
Yeah, because there's a
Taiwan.
lot of I didn't know this.
I heard
Chinese
they made more
tourists who love Slam
money
Dunk.
Yeah.
from the movie there.
That's crazy. It blows my mind.
Would you count as an old anime?
That's a great question. Now,
Because if you ask kids today, you recommend them like Spice and Wolf, and they'll be like, "That's an old show."
We're getting in the old feel in pre-2000s.
Yeah.
And then I think pre-90s is pre-90s is where I would say
ancient.
It's old. I would say it's old. 100%.
Because like I realized this the other day when I was like, oh, I would consider like, you know, in my mind, anything that's like 10 years or below can be like, that's a classic, you know. But to me, shit like Gurren Lagann still feels recent, even though I know it's really not, you know. And then recently, like Kill la Kill just had its 10-year anniversary. I'm just like,
really? Damn.
my life, man. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when that was like the fresh, hot.
I
new
remember
anime.
the day that shit was announced.
Yeah. Remember when Trigger saved anime because of Kill la Kill? I do.
Yeah, like, Trigger, it still sounds kind of new.
Yeah,
It's no
yeah.
guidance, right? But yeah, I think back in those days when everyone just think of animation company as Toho Cinema or Toei, Toho, or maybe Tatsunoko Pro, and that's like old, I guess.
And that's it.
If you can name more than that, I guess that's very new.
Dude, I remember when like, you know, the biggest like studio back in the day was like JC stuff. It was like
Not the biggest.
well, JC stuff and like Studio Dean was really big.
I mean, I remember
2000s.
when like, I mean, they came back with Free Run, but I remember when Madhouse was like the bar of
Wasn't
quality.
Right.
Production IG? With
Production IG was up there.
Are they
Yeah.
part of Madhouse or am I crazy?
No.
No, they were separate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
but people from Production IG started Trigger.
Right.
No. People from Gainax started.
Oh,
Trigger.
Gainax started.
IG started Studio Wits.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I
Yeah, it's
remember.
getting confusing.
Yeah, 'cause I
Right?
remember having
know.
a conversation. I went for lunch after I'd filmed something at Studio Trigger, and some of the staff just came. And I mean, because obviously in Japan, it's so hard to judge people's age. Some people, man, they look.
Asians.
That's such a funny out of context clip. I'm just laughing at
Asians.
And I swear, this woman, she looked like 29. If she'd have told me she was 29, I'd have believed her. And she just casually goes, "Yeah, I remember working on Evangelion." I was like, "Huh?" She's like, "What? What do you? What? You can't just say that. You can't just say I remember working on Evangelion or something." I was like, "What?"
Wait, so did you find out how old she was actually?
I think I jokingly I think it came up when we were all talking about ages. I think she said she was 50 something, but my God, she did not look 50.
Oh yeah. Wow.
I would have thought those animator living conditions would have sped run aging, but apparently not. Yeah.
No, it doesn't because you're inside the whole time.
Yeah, you
right?
just-
So you
yeah,
don't get any of the sun.
They told me I needed vitamin D. I feel like that was a lie.
That's not.
Who's they?
People
People.
told me. People told me I needed vitamin D, but everyone I know with the best looking skin
Yeah.
never leaves their house. What's up with that?
Oh.
I need vitamin D. I don't know. I feel better with vitamin D.
I probably need it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just salty because I have white people's skin.
That's just the British mentality.
Yeah.
You don't fucking need vitamin D. You don't get it in
fine.
England anyway. It's always cloudy.
Yeah.
Just all three of you with your, you're gonna have amazing skin. I already look like a basketball that's been used for too long.